as they're getting the electricity.
Were terribly shaken up by this. Because they had, I think, like Hemmel believed, that this was going to be a quick and a painless death.
It is usually believed, because they want to believe, that death is instantaneous. It simply isn't true. The fact is that they die due to asphyxia, which takes from tens of seconds to minutes. And that is because the electric current stops them breathing while they can still feel.
All right, so what do you think? Is this a viable method of execution? Yes or no?
No, the way those guys did it.
No. I'm sorry, what?
Not the same way they did it. Maybe if you have like enough voltage or enough current, maybe, but not this way.
I like Nathan's approach. He's saying, all right, the first attempt didn't work out too well, so let's make some adjustments. So he's got full faith in the operation. I'm with him. I'm thinking, at first you don't succeed, guys. You don't say, fuck it, we're not Canada. All right, so get it right the second time around. It's better than dying in bed. At the very least, it's exciting. So the question is, can we get it right? All right, this guy is a medical doctor. Okay, I think he's slightly biased. He's against the death penalty, which is fine.
Because they want to, due to asphyxia.
He's saying a lot of stuff. A lot of it, I'm a physicist. I'm going to disagree with him. Guys, if the current gets to the lungs, it should get to the heart about the same time. All right. I don't know what he's thinking. If I'm not breathing at the same time, which means that I'm having a heart attack more than likely at the same time. So just imagine. All right, let's make it interesting first and check to see if we can solve this problem as an engineering problem. All right, so put aside the feelings, and most of you guys are probably pretty good at that stuff because you're engineering students, all right, with engineering personality disorders. So let's just focus on the reality of it. All right, so what are we dealing with? So you get to the heart, you stop it. Is the person dead? Yes or no? The reason why I'm discussing that is because I'm actually reading a book on the electric chair as we speak on the side when I'm lecturing. All right, that's the book that I'm reading, The History of the Electric Chair. Here's the problem, guys. You stop the heart, the person is still alive.
Yeah, they can still
feel. The consciousness, yeah, they can still feel, they're still aware, and I think the consciousness, the brain is still alive up to a few minutes, I think. Or a second, I don't know.
On the side of the head?
No, don't go there yet. Let's go there one step at a time. We're problem solving at this point, all right? So where am I getting my information from? I'm getting it from Wikipedia, all right? So the people do experiments with this, the animal experiments, they stop the heart, they check to see if the brain is still active, and evidently the brain is active up to 20 seconds or something. So when you stop the heart, the person is still alive. That's what it means. For quick and painless death, regardless of how you do it, the person is going to remain alive up to 20 seconds. You cannot stop that from happening. You stop the heart, brain is still alive. You guillotine the person, cut the head off, the brain is still alive up to 20 seconds. All right, once again, these are the animal experiment results, regardless. All right, so getting to the heart is not the best way to go. It's deep within the body cavity. It's well protected on purpose. All right, so the survival of the fittest, that's this sort of engineering is required to protect the heart. And even if you get to the heart, the person, if you stop it, the person's still going to remain conscious up to 20 seconds. So not the best way to go. So what's the best way, Matthew?
Straight through the head?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Exactly. You see, you got a problem solver. This is a viable method of execution. All right. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. All right. If, for whatever the reason, if somebody needs to execute me, I'm thinking, yeah, just put it on top of my list. Get to the brain. Damn it. To get to the brain. It's right there. It's an electrical organ. Just hit it. Everything is going to wipe out. You shouldn't feel a thing. You should not feel a thing. I should be a spokesperson for this one. All right. You should not feel a thing. All right. So they were going after the heart. That was horrible. It didn't work out. So what do? Go after the brain. Put the electrodes on top of the brain. And then the next one through the legs. Okay. So let me explain how the modern executions take place. I'm going to use the movie Green Mile as an example of what works and what doesn't. Green Mile is slightly exaggerated. All right. Those of you guys who haven't seen the movie. I edited the movie carefully so you only get to see the bad stuff. All right, so if you cannot stomach it, don't watch it. The first time I've seen it, I can watch these scenes. Obviously, I've been lecturing forever. You know, it's special effects, good acting, this and that. All right, the way they do it today, let me explain the physics behind it. Number one, they will use a sponge, wet sponge. The reason why they will do it is dry skin offers a lot of resistance. It's about 10,000, it's about 100,000 ohms. All right, that offers a lot of resistance. And once again, I'm getting my numbers from Wikipedia. When you wet this skin, resistance goes down below about 500 ohms. It's only a few hundred ohms. So skin becomes highly conductive. The primary organ of attack is the brain. It's right there. You can get to the brain immediately. So one set of electrodes is going to be placed right on top of the brain. The second set is going to be placed at the legs. All right, so you hit the brain, wipe things out. They usually hit the brain at 20 amps, 20 amps of current. Depending upon the state, it could be about 2 seconds to 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Okay, it's not going to be extremely long because at 10 amps, usually the body can catch fire. So that's what they try to avoid. So they hit the brain for a few seconds. And at that point, the person is going to be brain dead. And then they lower the current up to 4 to 6 amps, once again, depending upon the state, in order to shut down the internal organs, stop the heart, fight the heart, and all that stuff. And then at that point, the doctor is going to go out, check to see if the heart is beating. Guys, you could be brain dead. You can have a heart beating up to 20 minutes. And how do I know that? Once again, animal experiments. All right, they take the heart out, put it in a jar, it can keep on beating. If the heart is beating, they have to do a second series of shots that they need to administer in order to actually shut down the heart completely. So that's the way it is done. Now, I got news for you. 20 amps of current hitting your brain. You should not feel a thing. Or there's not going to be any grunting. There's not going to be any sound. There's not going to be any noise. The only thing you will get to hear are the generators at that point. And that's the way it is 99.9% of the time. All right, so the brain is the primary organ that they target. All right, so movie is a drama, so they will add a little drama to it. From what I understand, the reason why they cover the face because the eyes usually bulge out, the person starts drooling, so it's not a pleasant thing to look at for the witnesses. That's just for witness protection.
Roll on 2.
All right, you hear a grunting, you should not hear that. So that's obviously a drama. You shouldn't hear anything under the surface. The body should tense up. It's a reflexive reaction. 20 amps of current, the body's going to heat up. So with the exception of the initial grunt, everything seems reasonable as expected. All right, the person is brain dead. Doctor will check to see if the heart is still beating. All right, so if the heart is beating at this point, they will do a second drill, series of drills, around 4 to 6 amps, so that the body doesn't catch fire.
Yeah.
All right, the next scene that you're about to watch is very similar to what happened during the first execution. All right, so the warden doesn't like the person who's about to be executed, so he decides not to wet the sponge. So skin is going to offer a lot of resistance. On top of that, the sponge is going to offer a lot of resistance. So the person is going to take the current up through the legs, so the last organ to be hit is going to be the brain.
Roll on 2.
This guy's going to feel it.
No, we're quite go.
All right, so imagine being there, guys. This is very similar to the first execution in history, with this smell and everything else, which lasted for about 5 minutes. Can something like this ever happen? Yeah, if there's a bad connection, there's a possibility that something like this can happen, and sometimes happens. All right, if it's done properly, though, it's a survival method of execution.
More than 4,000 men and women have died in the electric chair, which remains as controversial as ever. In 1997, a convicted murderer was put to death in Florida's 74-year-old chair. Witnesses saw flames shoot from his head, filling the room with the smell of burning flesh. Another inmate on death row appealed to the Florida Supreme Court, arguing it was cruel and unusual punishment. Court-appointed engineers examined the chair, known as Old Sparky, and proclaimed it to be in perfect working order, able to perform executions without causing pain or undue suffering. Very similar words to those.
All right, guys. Obviously, the United States is the only country that has the electric chair. Does anybody know who the person behind the electric chair is?
Thomas Edison.
How'd you know? How'd you guys know?
Well,
All right, the book that I'm reading is Edison and the Electric Chair. Yeah, Edison is the guy behind the electric chair. The question is why? He was against the death penalty. Why did he actually push for it?
Tesla.
Yeah, wasn't he trying to beat AC?
Yeah, we'll get into the history of it. I think there was a movie that just came out a couple of months ago regarding that. There's a history behind it. For business reasons, he pushed for it. He was against the death penalty. He argued that executions could be carried out without causing any undue pain or suffering. They conducted the experiments on dogs, horses, and elephant in order to demonstrate that. All right, and a lot of the states are still using it, but those states who are using it usually give you a second option just in case. All right, if you don't want to be executed using the electric chair, there's usually an option depending on the state. I don't know about Texas because they like their barbecue, but to me, as far as I'm concerned, that's a really viable way of executing someone. I mean, if I had the option, I would definitely prefer this. And so, how many of you guys would prefer something else?
Definitely not the gas chamber.
Not the gas chamber. No, absolutely not. I mean, this is the best way. Okay, so what's your argument? I don't know. If it's done properly, yes, this is the way to go. If it's not, if it doesn't work out, though, this is one of the worst ways you can go. All right. That's what it is. All right.